Hi there, Andy Ron here with Montana Land Source. It is Wednesday, November 8th, and this is your video summary of the weekly Montana Land Report. It's been a more busy week in the market over the past 7 days, 20 property updates, which is higher than what we've seen over the last couple weeks. 9 new listings, 8 price changes, and 3 sales. So a fair amount of new listings and also a fair amount of price changes, price decreases, which is what we have been seeing consistently, which is an indication of market correction, properties being reduced in price, recognition that price reductions are needed on some properties in order to sell in this environment. Still hovering at about 370 properties on the market. That has been pretty consistent. It was a busy week last week, lots of opportunities to participate in things relative to the Montana land market. The Montana Farm and Ranch Brokers meeting had a lenders panel. I always find that particularly interesting, particularly because Montana land market is dominated by cash. At least the big out-of-state purchases and whatnot are often done in cash, but nonetheless, interest rates and whatnot do seem to have a strong impact on the market regardless. Part of that is even some of these cash buyers often, at least in the past, have pursued financing post-purchase, especially when interest rates are low. It makes a lot of sense to leverage or mortgage that property to free up some cash. So that's kind of a portion of that market. So it was great to have top lenders in our area speak to us on that. And one interesting takeaway on that is that even though interest rates have gone up and the market has slowed substantially in 2023, they all report being just about as busy as ever. So that's very interesting. And in general, less small acreage, less people sort of moving to Montana with immediate housing needs in 2023 than the prior years, and more bigger projects, ag acquisitions, that kind of stuff. So good content there. I also really enjoyed going to MSU in Bozeman for the Ag Appreciation Week. The Department of Ag Economics and Economics gives an annual seminar every year that I'd been a couple years since I'd been to it. It was very well done, got a lot out of it. One of the more interesting presentations was on research about foreign ownerships in the US. That has been a hot button issue, particularly in Montana, since the Chinese surveillance balloon was spotted over Montana. That got people pretty excited about foreign investment in land in the US, particularly by adversaries. What the research shows is that there's actually a very small amount attributed to adversarial countries. By far, the dominant foreign ownerships are our neighbor Canada and other allies rather than adversaries. So it's always good to just get solid data on that kind of thing. And the other interesting aspect of that data was most of the investment is relative to energy. So for leasing for wind and solar being a dominant in the West. So that was very interesting as well. I had a fun time at the tailgate with Ag West. They threw a great tailgate party, comped me tickets to the Cats football game, so that was enjoyable, and it's always fun to see those guys, and I appreciate their support for Montana Land Source as well as the ag industry, appraisal industry in general in Montana. And then lastly, currently right now is a conference going on in Billings that I'm going to head over to again after this video. Western Sustainability Exchange is having an emergent markets seminar or conference here in Billings revolving around regenerative agriculture. Those guys are on the front lines of that movement, and it's just interesting to track the emergent markets for basically production that's more geared towards regenerative agriculture, that kind of thing, which is an emergent market area. And hearing a lot anecdotally anyway that a fair amount of buyers coming into the market in Montana have interest in that kind of production scenario. So it's great to be educated on that stuff, and those guys are doing great work. That's the news for this week. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.